My name is Albert Camarillo. I'm Professor of History and the Leon Sloss Jr. Memorial Professor. Been here at Stanford for over 4 decades. Member of the Department of History and in collaboration with the Center for Comparative Studies in Race and Ethnicity. One of the things about immigrants in American society, of course, today we talk about America as an immigrant society, right? And it has been forever, really. But there's also been that thread in the American past, beginning with the first immigration law, which was in 1792, that said you must be of the white race to be a naturalized citizen. So race played an important part. And of course, through the 19th century, with the anti-Chinese movement, restriction of Chinese and Asians in general from becoming naturalized citizens. Now, Hispanics never had that racial exclusion. They could always be naturalized citizens and American citizens. But I think if you look at the anti-immigrant thread, going back to the 19th century, 100 years ago, during the Progressive era, but the groups were different. They were Southern and Eastern Europeans, but there was still enormous backlash, xenophobia against that group. Over time, it shifted because the nature of the immigration shifted. It shifted to North America, to Mexico primarily, and to Asia. But the discourse today is really about overall undocumented immigrants, and the largest subset of undocumented immigrants in the United States are Hispanic, mostly Mexican origin. So the question is, how real is this anti-immigrant sentiment? Where is it located? Yes, I think there's a reality to it in metropolitan regions and other places that had never had huge populations of immigrants. You see an immigrant reaction. For example, the Southeast, never a region in American history that received large numbers of immigrants. But Hispanic immigrants are now changing that. There's a big reaction, right? So I think we can understand that. The critical issue, I think, on the policy side is, what do you do with 11 or 12 million undocumented immigrants in the United States, right? Over 2/3 of all Hispanics will say this: there has to be some way to allow these people who are here, who are undocumented, especially their children, a path towards citizenship. Because realistically, you can't break up these families and send them all back. So what do we do, especially with the children of these immigrants who are native born, right? Their parents may be foreign born and undocumented, but their children overwhelmingly are native born. But do you separate families? That becomes a big issue, right? A family-oriented population to begin with. So I think that's a driving force for Hispanic consideration of the immigration issue. Can we create a way for these people either to become naturalized or to have regularized status in the United States? That's the larger issue.